In the intricate world of relationships, narcissistic behavior stands out for its ability to transform love into an emotional battlefield. Today, we'll explore the shadows that lurk behind the narcissist when they face the loss of a relationship. We'll uncover how their efforts to retain control reveal more about their own nature than their feelings towards others. Get ready to delve into a journey through extreme selfishness and the manipulative strategies of those who love only their reflection. Here are the 5 typical reactions of a narcissist when they lose you. Number 1. Attempt to recover. When a narcissist faces the prospect of losing their partner, their instinctive reaction is not driven by love or genuine concern, but by a deep desire to maintain control and possession over the other person. This egocentric attitude reveals a view of the relationship not as a mutual emotional exchange, but as a power dynamic in which the narcissist must remain in absolute dominion. The tactics used to win back their ex-partner, from empty promises to the calculated exploitation of emotional weaknesses, are meticulously designed strategies to re-engage their target. These maneuvers demonstrate a perception of the partner more as an object of personal property than as an individual with their own feelings and needs. The process of trying to recover their ex does not take into account the emotional damage that these actions can inflict. Each broken promise, each manipulation, has the sole purpose of benefiting the narcissist, satisfying their need to feel in control and admired. This attitude underlines a lack of empathy and genuine consideration for the well-being of the other person, confirming that the narcissist's interest in the relationship is purely selfish. By focusing solely on their own needs and desires, the narcissist disregards the consequences of their actions on the emotional and psychological health of their ex-partner, perpetuating a cycle of pain and confusion in the name of maintaining their fragile self-esteem. Number 2. Hatred and blame. A narcissist's reaction to losing a relationship is often colored with hatred and an intense desire to blame others, particularly their ex-partner. This emotional response does not stem from a place of self-reflection or a desire to understand what happened. Rather, it arises from a deeply wounded ego and the narcissist's absolute inability to accept any form of personal responsibility for the events leading to the breakup. Fearing the confrontation of their own flaws and weaknesses, the narcissist entangles themselves in a narrative where blame must be projected outward. In doing so, they attempt to reverse the roles within the relationship dynamic, pushing their ex-partner to bear the burden of guilt in an effort to safeguard their own image and deny their role in the deterioration of the union. This deeply selfish behavior reflects the narcissist's desperate need to maintain their self-image intact, even if it means discrediting and causing pain to the person they claim to love. In their mind, the admission of any personal fault or defect threatens to crumble the facade of perfection they have worked so hard to build and maintain before others. Thus, the narcissist embarks on a calculated effort to rewrite the history of the relationship, presenting themselves as the aggrieved party and painting their ex-partner as the true cause of the conflict. This act of manipulation seeks not only to absolve them of all responsibility but also aims to inflict pain and confusion, ensuring that attention and sympathy are swayed in their favor, thereby perpetuating their cycle of selfishness and self-deception. Number 3. Anger and stalking. The anger a narcissist experiences after a breakup is not merely the result of a broken heart, but rather of a deep frustration from losing control and a vital source of narcissistic supply. This supply, which feeds on the attention, admiration, and emotional servitude of the partner, is essential for maintaining their inflated sense of grandiose self. Deprived of this, the narcissist may turn to anger as a way to express their discontent and desperation. This anger manifests in obsessive and stalking behaviors, in an attempt to reinsert themselves into the life of their ex-partner. These maneuvers, which can range from surveillance on social media to uninvited appearances at places frequented by the ex-partner, are a clear attempt to assert their presence and power, trying to force a dynamic of interaction that allows them to regain some degree of control and supply. Far from showing any remorse or consideration for the well-being of the other person, these actions highlight the narcissist's deep selfishness and their inability to respect the boundaries and autonomy of others. Trying to keep someone tied against their will reflects a lack of empathy and a desire for dominance that disregards the needs and wishes of their ex-partner. This behavior is not only harmful to the victim by invading their personal and emotional space, but also reveals the vulnerability and dependence of the narcissist on the relationship. Through stalking and intimidation, the narcissist seeks not only to assert their dominion but also to alleviate their own insecurity and inner void, demonstrating that, at their core, their anger and actions are a desperate cry to retain what they view as their inalienable right, absolute control over those who enter their orbit. Number 4. Defamation and victimization. In a desperate attempt to protect their ego and reputation after a breakup, the narcissist may embark on a defamation campaign targeted at their ex-partner. This strategy aims not only to undermine the credibility and status of the other person in their shared social environment but also to reinforce the narcissist's narrative as the true victim of the situation. By distorting facts and spreading falsehoods, the narcissist actively manipulates public perception to gain sympathy and support, all while placing themselves at the center of attention as the one affected by the circumstances. This calculated act of self-preservation is notable not only for its selfishness but also for its capacity to inflict significant emotional and psychological harm on the person they once claimed to love, demonstrating once again that their primary concern is their own well-being regardless of the cost to others. The victim of this defamation campaign thus faces not only the loss of the relationship but also the erosion of their reputation and the potential alienation from their social circle. Meanwhile, the narcissist, wrapped in their self-defined role as the victim, continues to seek validation of their experience without offering space for the narrative or feelings of their ex-partner. This process of self-imposed victimization completely ignores the suffering and confusion their actions generate, showing a lack of empathy and a total disregard for the consequences of their actions. Ultimately, what remains is a clear example of how the narcissist uses manipulation and misrepresentation as tools to maintain an immaculate image of themselves at the expense of the truth and the emotional well-being of those around them. Number 5. Seeking new supplies. In the final stage of their relational cycle, the narcissist embarks on a quest for new narcissistic supplies, guided by a deeply egocentric approach. This process involves seeing people not as unique individuals with their own feelings and needs, but as potential sources of attention, admiration, and validation that can be used to satisfy their personal needs. This behavior is a clear reflection of their transactional view of relationships, where a person's value is measured solely by their ability to contribute to the narcissist's inflated sense of self. The relentless pursuit of new supplies not only evidences the narcissist's insatiable need to be the center of attention but also their inability to form deep and meaningful emotional connections. In this superficial world, people are interchangeable and can be replaced at any moment by someone who offers greater admiration or submission. While the narcissist pursues new targets, they do not completely abandon their old supplies, attempting to keep them within their orbit in case they need to be used again in the future. This pattern of behavior highlights a total lack of emotional commitment and an inability to love genuinely. For the narcissist, relationships are merely instrumental, designed to serve their own interests and preserve their self-esteem. Such an approach to human relationships is not only deeply selfish but also inherently harmful to those caught in their web. Through this perpetual cycle of seeking and retaining supplies, the narcissist reveals the true nature of their disorder, an endless thirst for external validation that can never truly be quenched, leaving a trail of broken hearts and damaged relationships in their wake. You can share your opinion and experience in the comments, and if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.